This is the message that went out earlier today from NOAA and the National Hurricane Center for the 2025 Atlantic Hurricane Season Outlook. Now, while it really doesn't look any different than the one that they put out back in May, there is a slight difference. So let's go to our weather system and I want to show you a comparison of our graphics. So this is the current. This is from August. So if you look, the named storms here say 13 to 18, hurricanes 5 to 9. That's a category 1 or a category 2. And then major storms are category 3 and above when storms hit 111 miles per hour between 2 and 5. Now the 2024 totals 14, 7, and 3 respectively. All right, so that's the August forecast from NOAA. Here's the May forecast: 13 to 19, 6 to 10, and 3 to 5. So they bumped it down by 1 in each category. Now, what they're saying along with this is so far this hurricane season, there have been 4 named storms and there haven't been any hurricanes yet. Dexter was so close, but oh so far away. One of them, Tropical Storm Chantel, hit the U.S. over the 4th of July weekend, bringing strong winds and dangerous flooding to North Carolina. It started off offshore and it turned in and just brought a ton of rain. We watched that one for you. That was Chantel. Experts are warning that every storm is different. Of course, we know that, and can be dangerous. Even a tropical storm can fire off tornadoes and flooding, which we've seen historically. But they do encourage you. We always say, be prepared, be prepared, be prepared. And we have a really great hurricane plan on our website. So I want to show you the Colorado State University forecast. They're more pinpointing the number of storms, and this is from July, and their most recent one didn't change. So they're saying 16 named storms, 8 of them hurricanes, and 4 of them category 3 or above as a major hurricane, an MH, if you will. So they're right in between. Like, I'm going to go back and show you this one again. So this NOAA one is in between 13 and 19, between 6 and 10, between 3 and 5, while the Colorado State University one is saying 16, 8, and 4. All right, so let's talk about Dexter. It's now a post-tropical cyclone. The National Hurricane Center isn't even tracking it anymore. They're really not putting out any more advisories. So it is just a storm that is moving way, way, way off to the east, and it will be in Europe and maybe bring some rain to those folks there. Forecasters, though, are saying that there are going to be areas that bring in more tropical cyclones. Now, we're not out of the woods. It's barely August, and this is when we typically start to see things heat up, like we have here in our tropical weather outlook. So here we have this blob of yellow. We've been following this one for almost a week, and this area now, it's been wavering. I mean, earlier this week, it was in the orange also, which is more of a medium risk. Now it's back in the yellow. But yesterday, it was a 0 to 30% chance over the next 2 to 7 days. Now it's a 10 to 20, and that's from the 2 p.m. update from the National Hurricane Center. So this area of low pressure will have the potential to bring an extreme amount of rain to the Carolinas this upcoming weekend. However, it's not very tropical in nature. It's just over water. So figure it's a low pressure system over water, which is of course going to bring a lot of rain. So it's the area here in orange. This spot, we always have a tendency to really keep an eye on during hurricane season. If you recall in 2024, the majority of our storms formed in this kind of southern central tropical part of the Atlantic Ocean as storms brew off of the African coast. So forecasters do expect more activity this season because the ocean waters in the Atlantic and Caribbean are warmer than usual, and weather patterns over Africa are helping storms to form. This is a typical way. The wave comes off of Africa, it hits the warm water, it starts its counterclockwise spinning, it's a bunch of disorganized storms, and it becomes a cyclone with the spin. Other climate conditions are pretty neutral, though, right now. So that means nothing is helping to steer them. So there's a lot of shear. It's cutting them off at the top. Overall, the season is pretty much unfolding like the experts had thought. They're just keeping with their predictions, but just not very confident in that higher number. So they're bumping it down a little bit. Now, this orange area that we're really watching is likely going to hit a road bump I'm going to show you that here. So if you look at the cloud and radar forecast here, this is from this morning, and when you put it into motion, that area of X right there is hindering this area of drier air, so that this tropical wave that's behind the dry air is going to make this turn. It's going to basically hit a road bump where it says drier air, and it's going to turn to the north and to the west. So that seems to be the way that one's going to go. Now, the development hotspots, this is where we are really starting to watch for hurricane season, because this is where they tend to form. So see the bottom part where it says Leeward Islands on your screen? That's where we typically see the storms going towards. Now, that area of purple and blue and green, that's just to the right side of the word islands. That's that current orange area that the National Hurricane System is following. Now, as we put this into motion, we're going to turn it a bit. Those areas of purple, the one closest to Charlotte and Richmond, that's the low pressure that we're watching. The one way up at the top of your screen, that's Dexter. And now that one that's just coming off the coast of Africa all the way to the right, where you see the landmass, that's the next tropical wave. And that date right there is Saturday, August 9th. So that's this Saturday. We're going to continue watching it and see what that next one does, even though the one in front of it looks like it's going to be turning to the north-northwest.